We need to remind people that we don't only speak Spanish. Just in my country, in Guatemala, there are 24 different languages. In Mexico, there's over 100 languages, and a lot of the Native Americans from our countries are moving here too, and they speak that language. So they end up having to learn English and learn Spanish a lot of times because they have been in their communities for all their lives, and then they moved here, and they have to connect with a community that's different from theirs, which is the Latino community. So also just kind of make that note that there are other languages that are spoken within the community.
Welcome to America's Healthiest City on ESPN Richmond 106.1, part of the Mike King Biz Media Network. If this is your first time to the program, my name is Will Melton. I'm your host, and today we have Oscar Contreras from Radio Poder, and we're going to have a great conversation about the Hispanic and Latin community here in Greater Richmond. But before we get started, if this is your first time tuning into this program, please visit americashealthiestcity.com to learn about our 10-year community partnership. All of RVA, the healthiest in America by 2033. We need everybody's help to chip into this cause, and we need everybody moving in the same direction at the same time if we're going to achieve this very ambitious goal. We invite you to check out what it is like to become an ambassador of the program as well. But without further ado, Oscar, welcome to the program. Thank you so much for joining us. I know that you have a big impact in the Latin community here, and I want to learn so much from you today. But I've got some pointed questions, and we will just dive right into it with your relationship to the Richmond region. Are you a native, or did you make your way here at some point, and what brought you to the area, if so?
Great. Well, thank you, Will, for the invitation, and thank you for what you do. And yes, so I moved to Virginia in '95 from Guatemala for family reunification. My dad was here in the United States since the '80s, and in the '90s we were able to reunite the family. So I went to middle school and high school in Culpeper County, Virginia. And then I moved to Richmond to go to VCU to study photography and film. And so that's how I got here in Richmond around 2004. And as soon as I got here, I was able to get connected with one of my first jobs with the city of Richmond, and the Hispanic Liaison Office at that time was just starting. And now the Hispanic Liaison Office has grown into the, I think it's called Immigrants and Refugees Office Services, something like that. Now it covers not just Latinos, but just the immigrant community in Richmond. So that's how I came to Richmond. 2004, VCU. I got married. I got a job, so I just stayed here.
That's how it always goes, right? Well, I have to say, I was at VCU for a semester in 2003. Found out it wasn't for me, but we didn't overlap, unfortunately. But glad to know that you made your way here. So you're in the radio business now, and you have WBTK 1380 AM Spanish Family Radio. Can you tell me, did your film and photography immersion experience lead you at all to this space of the broadcast world, and kind of what was the inspiration to get into radio? Yes.
So with photography and film, I when I was deciding what to study, I knew I wanted to go to a university. I wanted to continue my education, really, because I had two little sisters. They're twins, and so I wanted to just show them the way, like, okay, you go to high school, you go to college, right? And so I did it really for them, to kind of show them that path. I was going to be the first one in my family to finish 4-year college degree. But so I decided to do photography because that's what I like. It was something that I enjoyed. I wasn't really planning to make a living, really, or make money with that. I always thought I could work of doing anything. You can make money doing anything. So I just thought, let me go to school and study something that I like. But while I was here, before I came to Richmond, I was a AmeriCorps volunteer and I worked with social services back in Culpeper. So I started to get to know the community and working with the Latino Hispanic community and community at large, and just seeing the needs. And I was talking to you off air about that and how you start seeing so many needs that there are, so many things that you can do. And so I started really falling in love without knowing, and serving and informing the community, letting them know where things are and how they can navigate different systems, like school system, the legal system, and stuff like that. So when I came to Richmond, like I said, I got a job with Hispanic Liaison Office, which that's what they were doing. It was a one-stop center for newcomers. And so during that time, the station started in 2006. WBTK used to be English talk, and it was bought by the owner now, and it became a Latino family radio station. So I found the station. I was listening to it all day, all night. I enjoyed it very much. And they were asking for new people to join their team. I wasn't interested in radio. I had no idea how radio worked, nothing. But I worked with the community, and I thought it would be great for them to have a radio show to let people know what's, all the resources. And so I called them and I said, look, I know there's a lot of resources here, but people don't know them. Why don't you put on a show, invite people, just kind of what you're doing, Will, invite people and share information. And they said, well, we're looking for someone that knows this community, that knows the Latino community here. I said, I do, but I'm in school. And I said, well, they gave me a part-time job. I was a university student. Fine, I have a part-time job. That's great. So that's how I ended up in radio, doing a part-time in WBTK. And it's been 18 years of that.
And you have a 4-hour block, is that right, every day of the week?
Well, when I started, they just set me in front of the microphones from when I came to work till I left. I mean, I was just talking to people. I have no idea how I did it. And yes, right now I run the morning show, but I have other shows that I do. And we're very flexible here in the station because we're really focusing in the community, really. And so if there's any breaking news or any information that we need to share, I can just go on air and just share the information, So we have been very blessed to have this station and to be able to share all the information that we do every day. 24/7 is the station. So.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that really interests me about this is, if you look at the data since 2000, between 2000 and 2022, the Hispanic population exploded by 323% to reach 103,000 people. I'm sure that number's grown in the last 2 years. I know that there is Hispanic media outlets out there internationally, nationally, and obviously here locally, but the population here, the Hispanic population makes up 5% of the total workforce. Do you feel like there remains a gap in the media landscape for this population? And, kind of how do you see your role in the greater landscape of media as it pertains to the Hispanic population?
Yes. So just like I told you with my personal story, when I moved to Richmond, one of the things that you do is look for those outlets, newspapers or the radio stations. So just going through the radio and finding, is there anything here? So that's how I found this station. So yes, I think as anyone, as a newcomer, we want to connect with what sounds familiar to us. Right now, we have been the one station that's been continuously doing the same thing for this long. There have been other stations. Sadly, they've been, as people know in the radio business, they close and open and close and change formats and so on. So right now there are other stations. You would say they're new, but the people that are behind them, they've been involved in radio and broadcasting. I would think almost since I came here, because the station wasn't that new, the one that was there, maybe in the early 2000s when media started to kind of, for Latinos, started to be present,
Well, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, I want to talk a little bit more about your work in the community and the impact that you're having. For those of you who are listening, please check out America's Healthiest City and follow us on socials at America's Healthiest City on Instagram, on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We'll be right back. Welcome back to America's Healthiest City on ESPN Richmond 106.1, part of the Mike King Biz Media Network. Today, we are doing a virtual interview with Oscar Contreras from Radio Poder 1380 AM, and we're talking about the impact of media in the Latin community and just the population in general. We have, obviously, as we work with these populations of both newcomers and people who've been here for a really long time, we're recognizing, I'm a white guy, if you're listening, I'm a white guy. It's easy for us to take for granted the folks who are out there that aren't like us. And I wanted to take some time today to really focus a spotlight on the Latino population, because we have a responsibility to everybody to bridge these gaps and make sure that we can work together. And so, Oscar, in my research, I was looking at some data on the poverty level, and in Richmond in general, about 19% of the population is living at or below the poverty line. But when you look at the Hispanic population, that's up to 26%. I imagine that creates some barriers in and of itself. But when you add this language barrier in, and perhaps the lack of connectivity to resources, it becomes even harder to close that gap. Tell us a little bit about the work that you do, and just how you connect with your audience, the type of guests that you bring in, how you deliver that critical information to the community so that they're informed and can lift their family up.
Yes, and thank you. Okay, so most of our audience, we do also some surveys once in a while to kind of get to know our audience a little better, and we do know that a lot of them have a basic knowledge of English, like 70% have a basic knowledge or are bilingual. But there's always, even if you know the language, you still have to learn how to navigate other systems. Like I said in the beginning, the educational system, the legal system, the health system. And we try to invite those experts, people that know all that information, to just share it. And it really, a lot of times, is a lot of repetition. You have to repeat it over and over again. And as immigrant community, you have immigrants coming and going, because immigrants come to look for work. So if the job moves to a different state, that's where they're going to go. So, and I think it's not just Latino or newcomers. I think anyone that immigrates. I know for this region in Virginia, in the Richmond region, we have a lot of immigrants from New York. New Yorkers are coming down, and people from California are coming down here because they have a better life and it's cheaper. And so, but as newcomers come, we need to give them that information so they can navigate things, and they can. And the language makes them a target. The lack of the language for people that are looking for quick money, and they get tricked. I can help you with this. I can help you with that. And when you don't know, it's easier for someone else to do it for you, and then you lose a lot of money.
Yeah.
In addition to that, we try to get people that can give us information about immigration, statuses, and same thing for the goal of people not being tricked. During COVID, for example, we were just like almost any media, but we were trying to communicate what they needed to do, where they needed to go, so it becomes a bit, not a bit, it's a lot of responsibility, to carry the right information at the right time. And people will call us and looking for resources, and we end up doing a lot of work, not on air, but really during other hours, looking for that information for them and connecting them with resources.
So it's I read in your bio that it's an emergency preparedness in times of emergency, and I certainly see the need for that. Tell me a little bit about the entertainment component. Are you guys working to bring that cultural flair to the content as well, and how do you effectively do that?
Yes, so we have a lot of talk, but also a lot of music. So, and we represent. When we say Latino community, we're talking about a bunch of different countries with many different cultures within each country. So let's say today I have a few segments here and there in the morning show. One is to detect the accent. So I have a clip of someone from a different country, will be Guatemala or Chile or Ecuador, Mexico, and I play a little bit of it, and I have them detect where is this accent from? Is it a Mexican accent? Is it a so a lot of times people can't tell because it's, let's say, just Mexico has so many different accents within, So it's a fun kind of thing that we do and connect. And I say, if you have friends from that country, you won't be able to identify. Just if you hear a New Yorker accent or Georgia, if you're someone from Georgia, you can say, oh, yeah, I think you're from Georgia, from the South.
Yeah.
So we kind of celebrate that the fact that we are Latinos and Hispanics, that the way they see us here. But at the end of the day, I mean, we come from all these different places, and we don't know each other's culture. Like, I'm a Guatemalan and I meet someone from Mexico. I don't really know their culture. I don't know how they celebrate certain things or how their family dynamics are. And so, but here we become the Latino community. And so we have to create, or we have to kind of, in a way, follow what has been established to be the Latino community. So it is kind of a lot of readjustment, I think.
Yeah.
And so we play with that. We play with all that. We celebrate each other's cultures. The music represents that. We have salsa, merengue, bachata, ranchera, which is all different types of music from different places. So it's not one sound, it's all the sounds together.
So, I think one of the things that I really appreciate that comment about, this multitude of cultures that are coming together, unified by, a single language.
Yeah.
I've had the good fortune to work with a number of people from the Latino community, whether it be for, my aunt and uncle's tree crew down in Florida, and telling jokes, and all those people came from different places as well. To even today, and professional settings, the contractors that I work with in the marketing space, and so I want to talk with you about that a little bit. But there is this really, from my experience, fun, rich, energetic, and very human centered cultural component that I appreciate, because I feel like in our country we unfortunately we don't talk to our neighbors all the time. We don't really have that. It's very individualistic. So maybe you can share some some insights into that culture, but just also wanted to express the appreciation that I have for you and for the community that you're fostering, because I have to understand these things better myself, having not really traveled much outside the United States.
Yeah, well, you were talking about the unification of the language, and yes, Spanish kind of helps us become that community. But also something that has happened is that we need to remind people that we don't only speak Spanish. Just in my country, in Guatemala, there are 24 different languages. In Mexico, there's over 100 languages, and a lot of the Native Americans from our countries are moving here too, and they speak that language. So they end up having to learn English and learn Spanish a lot of times because they have been in their communities for all their lives, and then they moved here, and they have to connect with a community that's different from theirs, which is the Latino community. So also just kind of make that note that there are other languages that are spoken within the community. Yes, generally speaking, yes, we are family centered. I think nowadays, because of the internet and YouTube, and the individual kind of individualistic focus, I think is now global.
Yeah.
So what I found out, I went back home just a couple, I think it was last year, with my family, and I used to talk about my childhood in Guatemala as if the place stayed the same, but it hasn't. I used to talk about, this is how it is in Guatemala. This is how we used to do things. And now that I went back, everything has changed so much. Even the culture, the young people are very different, So, but yes, here in United States, in the Latino stereotype, because there's good stereotypes and bad stereotypes, but the good stereotype is that we are family centered, that we care about our family, and that we are warm, and that is true, but not necessarily, right? You
Yeah.
have you have to see the stereotypes as a guide, but not as a thing that defines everyone. So I've learned that throughout the years. Like,
Yeah.
stereotypes inform you because sometimes they're true, sometimes they're not. But I think you have to still give the chance to the person, to the individual,
Yeah.
to show themselves to you and get to know them as individuals.
Well, it's fitting that we're talking about Richmond again. I have to take a quick break, but when we come back, I want to focus our conversation a little bit more on the impact that we can have going forward. Thanks for tuning in to this week's show on America's Healthiest City. If you've been with us for a while, you may know that our journey is supported and brought to life by Exponent 21, a digital creative agency where sustainability isn't just a policy, it's part of our mission. In a world where digital visibility is paramount, Exponent 21 stands out by crafting websites and marketing strategies that do more than just attract visitors. We're building digital experiences that are as sustainable as they are compelling, ensuring your site not only ranks higher in search results, but does so because it has a lower carbon footprint and is faster as a result. And it's not just the digital space where Exponent 21 is making waves. With the creation of Richmond Water, we're changing how the community hydrates. Imagine a Richmond where single-use plastic bottles are a thing of the past, replaced by refillable aluminum bottles and convenient refilling stations. This vision for a sustainable future RVA is not just a dream, it's within our grasp. And it starts with businesses like yours considering what can be done differently. Whether it's optimizing your operations for sustainability, launching products that meet tomorrow's needs, or telling your sustainability story to raise awareness, all roads lead to increased profitability. If you're ready to rethink how your business impacts the world and tell your sustainability story in a way that resonates, Exponent 21 is here to guide you, because together we can transform our businesses and our community, making Richmond the city of sustainability and innovation it's destined to be. So as we wrap up today's conversation, take a moment to consider, what can your business do differently for a healthier, more sustainable tomorrow? Reach out to Exponent 21. Let's build a better world one click, one sip, one step at a time. Visit exponent21.com to start your journey. Welcome back to America's Healthiest City on ESPN Richmond. You can catch us each week on Thursdays at 6 a.m. Here on the network or on ESPNRichmond.com. You can also check out short clips on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. So please follow us over on at America's Healthiest City. Today in the virtual studio, we have Oscar Contreras from Radio Poder. 1380 a.m. Great to have a fellow radio broadcaster here in the studio with us. Oscar, I really want to get down to kind of brass tacks, if you will, on health in our community. This is a 10-year community partnership. We are a year and a half in. We take everybody's ideas and we put them on the ideas board, but we need folks to lean into these things and to understand why it's valuable to get involved. And so, I want to focus a little bit on kind of the thoughts that you've got for the future of Richmond. And, do you have any ideas that you'd be willing to inject in our ideas board, things that are maybe small that people can get involved with, things that people can pursue individually, or maybe some bigger things that are happening? And I don't want to forget, I want to make sure that we talk about Hispanic Heritage Month as well. And I know you have an event coming up for that.
Yes, it is. You're a newcomer. You don't really know, and you don't have the time to investigate.
Yeah.
You just kind of go with what other people tell you, the other people's biases. They tell you something, and you just go, okay, maybe that's true, And I think it happens to us in every way, by our parents or people that we trust. They tell us information, and we believe it, which is fine. But as we grow, we need to make sure that that's a true fact. So when that was told to me, I think I would act differently around people, and they would see that. And of course, they will react to it. And then you would be like, oh, okay, that's why. No, it's me. I'm the one, making that change. I look away, I walk away. They see that, they look at me. It's kind of like you're creating that tension. So and then coming to Richmond, understanding the history and the enslaved and all this kind of stuff, and doing the slave trail walk, the slave trail.
Yeah.
That was very helpful. And I remember one particular thing that the person that was doing the guide told and said, just imagine these people coming from so far and getting off this boat in the way that they did. And they were saying just, it's a different trees, different sounds, different air. And so in a small way, I was able to connect with them. When I moved to United States, I came on the plane, and immediately when I got off the plane, I felt that. I felt a different air, different people, different sounds, and I was afraid. And I was with my family. I was in a safe place. So just picturing that in like 1,000 times worse kind of helped me kind of see, okay, this is meaningful. So I think knowing where you are, get better.
So I lost you for just 1 second, but I think I got the gist of what you were saying, and I really, one thing I want to do, I'm going to run over on my airtime here, but I'm going to do it anyway. September 21st, you've got an event coming up. You want to tell our listeners about that?
Yes, Hispanic Heritage Month. We're going to be celebrating Virginia Fiesta. This is our 3rd year creating this event. I realized that there wasn't any event during Hispanic Heritage Month like this. We do have the Que Pasa Festival that has been going on for 2 decades, I think, more, and that's during this May. But there was nothing really for Hispanic Heritage Month as a festival. So we as a station created Virginia Fiesta, and it is food and performances and celebration and resources, a resource fair, a little market. So, and this year is going to happen here at 2809 Emery Wood Parkway in September 21st from 2 to 6 p.m. I think 6 or 7 p.m. It's gonna we're gonna have the celebration.
Well, we'll have to talk to you about getting some Richmond water refill stations out there so that we can hydrate your crowd sustainably without the plastic. We'll talk about that off air, but just for our listeners, how can folks get in touch with you out there and give us your call sign and all that so they know how to listen?
Yes. So yes, Radio Poder, 1380 AM or WBTK.com. You can use that to go to the webpage and listen to us live, but also Radio Poder 1380, Radio Poder 1380.com, because that's easier for Spanish speakers. Radio Poder 1380.com or WBTK.com for English speakers. Sometimes WBTK is, I don't know why, but it's a little difficult.
I can't say it.
So we are there, and also our Facebook page, Radio Poder 1380, in Facebook, and we share a lot of information always. The things that we cannot share on air, we share on our Facebook page, and we are the only family-friendly radio station, and we really enjoy that children can listen to it, and anyone can listen to it and get something out of it.
Well, Oscar, thank you so much for coming on the program with us today. This conversation is not over. You'll be back with me in the near future. Thank you so much again, and I look forward to our future conversations.
All right. Well, and what's any Spanish word you're going to share with us before we end?
Me llamo Guillermo. ¿Cómo estás? I don't know. You said you were. Adios. Adios. Yes. Adios. That's easy. Muy fácil. Muy fácil. Gracias. Adios.